Okay, so obviously I can't pack it into 10 minutes. There's obviously going to be 2 videos. Maybe there's going to be a third. If you're watching this first, there's a video before this, so this will make sense. All right, so I'm coming back. Let's see where I leave off. I picked up the check, right? I'm driving back and I'm all jacked up, and then Vanya calls me and says, "So what did she ask for?" She wants to know what she asked. So I said, "Well, I'm going to Salt Lake City." "You are?" "Yeah." And Vanya's surprised because, you know, earlier I was in the decision that why would I go to Salt Lake City? Of course I'm not going to. I've already seen this story. Why would I do that? I saw Steve deliver this message before. What am I going to go to Salt Lake City for? I already know the deal. So, you're going? "Yeah, I'm going." "All right, and what else she asked for?" She said she asked me to pay for the venue. "What?" Yeah, she asked me to pay for the venue. Oh, you know, somebody else ultimately ended up paying for half. I didn't even pay for the whole thing. But I said yes, because I said I'd say yes. And if she had asked me for 15 Harley Davidsons, I would have figured out how to do that. So, you know, she didn't. I kind of wish she did, because it would have been pretty cool for me to see. I would have liked to have seen what would I have done then to pull that off. But anyway, so Vanya's saying, "Wait a minute, you're paying for the venue? Why?" I said, "You know why? Because last night on the phone, you know, when I was talking to Steve, I said that I accepted the challenge he gave me. He asked me to make a commitment, and I made the commitment, so I'm keeping the commitment, which is to do whatever she said." So that's it. And now Vanya, to her, you know, in her defense, she didn't know that nobody was profiting from this event. She didn't know that. I didn't take the time to explain that to her. I didn't think of it. So I didn't realize that she was thinking that I was like maybe being taken advantage of somehow. So that's the mentality that she's in right now, because it's a total misunderstanding. But she didn't know, and she's getting disturbed actually about the fact that she thinks I'm being taken advantage of, right? That I'm paying for a venue that somebody else has an event at, and they're going to make money, and I'm paying, like, what? So she's like, "What?" I said, "Honey, all right, look, I told you, I committed to do it. This is my coach. There's nothing uncool about this." And then, you know, she said, "This is retarded." That was her reaction. Now, I want to time out for a second and just apologize for any political incorrectness, because I want to tell the story exactly as it is, because it matters to be told that way. So, I apologize if anybody takes offense to that language, but that's how the story goes. So, now I'm like pissed, because I just went from super jacked up, because I love this stuff. I love the fact that there's all this mystery and mystique around what's going to happen, and I just figured out how to, like, you know, come up with money like that. Who the hell can't do that? And I got the CDs are coming now. Yeah, that's cool. I had that idea, but I can't wait to see what happens at this event. And as a result of it, this is exciting, because, you know, Steve promised miracles, and I can't wait to see what they are. So I'm all revved up. She's all pissed off or bitter or confused, or just something not cool. And I said, "All right, you know what? I'm going to hang up now. Honey, yeah, we're going to go ahead and end this call, because I'm excited. You're not participating in my enthusiasm, so why don't we just go talk later?" "Fine." So then we hang up. Now we're going to fight, right? So I end up going, you know, that day was my friend's wedding. Saturday morning, 7:30, I'm on the plane, go to Salt Lake City. Awesome flight, by the way, from Phoenix to Salt Lake City in the morning, going over the Grand Canyon. Killer. They upgraded me to first class, too, which is totally sweet. So I just have an amazing event. Anybody that's watching this that was there knows this was an absolutely remarkable event. I'm in tears half the time. It's so powerful. So, you know, what happened really was that I realized humbly, sitting there in the second row, being completely captivated by the way that Steve was telling this amazing, right, and transformational and important, powerful story, that I didn't get it. And thank God that I went there. Thank God for everything that happened that got me there, to be there, to really get what I thought I already knew, which is the power of all-inness and all the magic that happens as a result of being in that state. Having the courage to be in an all-in state, right, which is the personal internal commitment state, the decision-making state. So, it was a big deal. That's an understatement. And no contact with Vanya. I'm flying back Saturday, you know, from Salt Lake City. It was just in and out day, and I'm at the airport in Salt Lake, and I'm texting Vanya. There's, you know, it's ugly. It's you know, at some point during the text exchange, I had been so stupid as to say, "Do you know you're acting like an idiot right now?" Fuel on fire, kaboom, and, you know, we're just spiraling into hell together right now. So this argument is getting worse and worse. And so Sunday comes along, I have friends over for Sunday football all the time, and we're just having some texts, and the text exchanges are still getting gross. They're getting worse. And Sunday night, finally we get on the phone together, and the phone call is just tragic. It's bad. And we're spiraling down, worse and worse and worse. And we get off the phone, and I felt gross. And I go into this contemplative state, like, can I really be in a relationship like this? Can I date her? If she's not going to participate in my enthusiasm, like, this is some of the stuff that's so important to me. Like, it can't be anything more important in the world than stuff like this. And she can't even be enthused. So that's where I'm going, right? That's what I'm doing in my head. I ended up having a conversation with Allie, my dear friend Allison Arnold, and I also talked to Steve Hardison that night, because I'm like thinking, I need some guidance, man. I got to call my masters and say, what's going on here? And they both said the same thing to me, because they're both infinitely wise, and they both said, Chris, what did you just attend? What was the point of the event? And I thought that, well, the point of the event is all in, oh, right. So I shifted. I shifted in that moment after talking to both of them, and I realized, what the hell am I doing? Why am I needing Vanya to be anything different? I love her. She's the most amazing human being I've ever met in the world. Why am I sitting here thinking that she should be doing something different? I need to show up in this relationship in a way I've never done before. I'm going all in. So I get online and I buy a plane ticket, and I'm flying to New York the next day. There's one seat left on that flight, which is awesome, and I got it. So I'm going to go see my girl, and I'm going to deliver a message, and the message is, honey, I am all in. And I did. So I showed up the next day, blew her mind, and told her, me showing up here is not the important part of this. The important part is the message I'm here to deliver to you live, which is, honey, I'm all in. Our relationship is profoundly different. Vanya just is so beautiful, and we had the most amazing time that day and a half. Monday and Tuesday, came back Wednesday morning, and if she was sitting here right now, she would say to you, our relationship is not the same. It is profoundly different, and it's a million levels more beautiful than it was. It was already beautiful, and that's a miracle, and that is definitely. There are a ton of miracles in all of this, and this is what's absolutely amazing, right? None of this would have happened if that phone call didn't drop. Because if the phone call didn't drop, I wouldn't have picked up the phone to answer Steve Hardison's call, in which case he wouldn't have been able to give me the challenge of taking making the commitment to make a contribution. So I wouldn't have called Julie Blake the next morning. She wouldn't have been able to ask me to show up, right, to get there, and then I wouldn't have had the transformational experience that I had there, and then all the other beautiful things like getting the money, which is nothing, anybody can do that. But then having the CDs, like having the creative idea of contributing the CDs, and then all the good things that are happening as a result of that for people, and even for me as well. None, I wouldn't have had the argument with Vanya, which then wouldn't have led to the conversations, which wouldn't have led to me going and actually getting what it means to be all in. None of it would have happened if the call didn't drop. Why did the call drop? Because Steve Hardison made a decision to call me that night. When he made the decision, the call dropped. You call it whatever you want. Call it God. Call it divine grace. Call it synchronicity. Call it the inextricable connectedness of all things. I call it the infinite organizing intelligence of the universe, but whatever you call it, it's magic, and the magic happens when you get in an all-in state. These are the miracles that are occurring. These are the miracles that can't not occur when you decide, when you make the decision to be all in. Deuce Latui, I don't know you, haven't met you, I can't wait to. Thank you for having the courage to make the decision you did that's now resulted in changing my life.